We are phenomenal LARPers. We wear different masks and clothes to appease different people, our bosses, our families, and our friends. But what happens when we play those characters so well, we forget who we are when the curtain falls. If we strip all those masks away, is their true self actually left underneath? This is called the public self. It's the clothes that we put on to face the world. But the danger happens when we doubt ourselves during this performance that we experience imposter syndrome. We start to wonder if we are just a collection of fakes with nothing real inside. Most people think that the answer is just to be more perfect. Act more confident, get a better job, and you'll finally be happy. I think that Limbus Company demonstrates how we've got it all backwards. The traumatized characters in this game teach us a profound truth. The cure to feeling like an imposter is adopting a mindset in which you're satisfied with what you make of it with the situation you are given. It's about valuing the steady and messy progress of learning over perfection. Your true self isn't some form of flawless statue. It is shaped by your circumstances, but ultimately defined by the imperfect choices that you make. The perfect you doesn't exist. In Limbus Company, there's a technology literally called the mirror. It allows characters to peer into parallel universes and see alternate versions of themselves. They can pull identities from timelines where they made different choices, at different times in different circumstances. You have an off-brand version of a mirror in your pocket right now. In social media, every time you log on, your brain is looking at alternate timelines. You look at your peers and see the timeline and where you got the promotion, where you traveled to Europe, and where you have the perfect relationship. We obsess over these what-ifs. We think, if I just had this product or aced this interview, I would be happy. But just like in the game, peering into the mirror for too long shatters your mind. You cannot live in a hypothetical timeline. You're gaslighting yourself that a better version of you exists somewhere else, wearing a better outfit and doing something more. But changing your suit doesn't necessarily change the person underneath it. You have to deliberately reframe your internal narrative. Instead of telling yourself, I'm a fraud because my life isn't perfect, you tell yourself, I'm satisfied with making messy progress right here, right now. To find your true self, you have to accept the fabric that you're currently wearing. It's one thing to accept the fabric of a normal and messy life, but what happens when the world hands you a tragedy? What happens when you're handed the fabric of a toxic workplace, a bitter breakup, or a profound loss? When the circumstances are so brutal that your internal narrative completely shatters. In the world of Limbus, when a character hits absolute rock bottom, they hear a voice, and they're forced to make a choice. When the world hands you a tragedy, it usually comes with the complete breakdown of a firmly held belief. You lose your dream job, a relationship shatters, or you realize the path that you've been walking on is a lie. In the game, when a character's worldview shatters like this, they hear a warm, alluring voice. This voice tells them exactly what they want to hear. It validates their rage, their despair, and their victimhood, and it tells them to just give in to their emotions. If the character agrees with the voice and surrenders to their own inner voices, they distort. They're completely consumed by their negative emotions, physically mutating into a monster that reflects their darkest desires. In real life, more often than not, we all hear that voice when our world falls apart. It's the voice of self-sabotage. It's the voice that says, you are right to be furious. Everyone is out to get you. Just give up. When we listen to that voice, we distort. We let our shattered beliefs turn us into toxic, bitter people, or maybe not people at all. We let the trauma consume us entirely. But you must know that there is another choice. It is incredibly difficult, especially when you're already exhausted from hurting. But you do not have to agree with that voice. You can gently, but stubbornly refuse to let it win. In the world of Project Moon, if a character denies that comforting voice of surrender and stubbornly asserts their own will, They don't mutate. They instead manifest ego. They take their shattered worldview and forge it into their own armor and weaponry. Here is the biggest takeaway. Fighting back doesn't mean you have to be perfectly fixed. Those scarred memories and experiences become a part of you. But you get to choose how you wear them, rather than letting them wear you. You can't control the tragedies life hands you. You can't just turn off the grief or the exhaustion that follows. But you do control how those scarred pieces fit together. You can gently use that heartbreak to set boundaries. You can take that shattered belief and stubbornly use it to build something new. But to figure out exactly how you want to stitch that fabric back together, you have to find a place where the audience can't see you. Stepping off of the stage and letting yourself be vulnerable is terrifying. To survive dropping the mask, you don't need a perfectly safe space. You just need a friend. In real life, a ticking clock is the pressure of the world. It's the anxiety that your performance is running out. But in Limbus, the clock represents the exact opposite. Dante is the manager of the sinners. He has a clock for a head with no memory, no history, and no public self to speak of. They are a literal blank slate. But more importantly, Dante cannot fight. However, they have an ability to rewind the sinner's time when they die, effectively bringing them back from the dead. The catch is that Dante has to physically feel the excruciating pain of the sinner's death every single time. In the real world, we have a terrible habit. When people we love are hurting, we try to give them advice. We try to fix their problems. We tell them to look on the bright side. But usually, when someone is in deep pain, they don't want a solution. They just want to know that they aren't alone. The Dante principle is about the power of simply bearing witness. Dante doesn't judge the sinner's masks. They cannot fight the monsters for them. But by voluntarily feeling their pain, Dante creates a space of absolute safety. In your everyday life, you don't need to fix your friends, and they don't need to fix you. Sometimes the most healing thing you can do is just sit in the dark with someone and say, I know this hurts. To figure out who you actually are, you have to find your own bus, you have to find your own Dante. It doesn't have to be a physical place, it can be a hobby where you don't care if you're productive. It can be a trusted friend who doesn't need you to be funny, strong, or put together. It's simply a space where you're finally allowed to drop the script. And this brings us to the ultimate truth. You are not a broken machine that needs to be optimized. If you take away the jobs, the audiences, and the trauma, your true self isn't a flawless statue hiding underneath your clothes, shaped by the brutal environments you work in and the tragedies you survive. It is ultimately defined by the imperfect choices you make with the things that you're given. The cure to feeling like an imposter isn't perfection. It's looking at the stitched together armor of your life and deciding you're satisfied with making messy progress right here, right now. I know it's been said over and over again, but stop comparing yourself to others. Be the master of your own emotions, but don't be afraid to show it every once in a while in the place that you're comfortable. Bear witness to pain of your friends instead of rushing to fix it. You aren't a fraud for playing a character to survive the day. We all have to wear the clothes the world demands. Just make sure that when the curtain finally falls, you're happy with your ending. Hey, if you want to see more of what you saw this video, make sure you like and subscribe. It doesn't seem like much, but it really means a lot to me. Thank you.